So, what's up, guys? This is the Olympus Podcast, and we are going to discuss upcoming updates and the state of Ironman and the Olympus clan that we are all a part of.
Yo,
Basically, we'll just introduce ourselves and who's on the podcast for this time around. I'm Cancer7, C7. I am a leader of Olympus, and yeah, that's about all there is to me. Might have seen me on the Sebe cast, kind of gave inspiration to doing another podcast, maybe.
nice.
And I'm Fat Clouds. I'm a maxed Ironman, top 15, going for 200 mil all, and current goals are 150 mil Slayer, and then base 50 mils after that, and part of Olympus as well. Just going for 200 mil all. Oh, and I stream on Twitch as well.
Oh yeah. What's your Twitch? Might as well say it.
Oh yeah, it's twitch.tv/fat_clouds.
Oh
Type
yeah.
a one in chat.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about me.
Sweet. Well, my name is Mason. My Ironman's name is Mason with some fucked up spacing, so don't worry about it. Also just a member here in Olympus, kind of representing voice chat crew.
Yo, I'm Nechs. I'm one of the leaders of Olympus. Just grinding raids, trying to get Tebow. And then afterwards, just Slayer and more PPM.
Yo, I'm wewkek. I'm a skill and neat, going for 200 mil all on my Ironman. Right now, I'm working on some agility, trying to do a 4K year in 2021, mostly Agi, Slayer, and RC this year.
Hell yeah.
All right, glad we could all make it. So I think first we'll basically discuss the clan system, since we are a clan, all part of a clan. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that sounds
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
Well, and
That's
it's
clan.
like a big update that's coming out, like the clan hub, and just the whole like clan rework is going to be really nice for managing things at Olympus. Like, the way the ranking system works is pretty cool, and just not having it tied to like a random low level UAM account is going to be nice.
And I think it's you can go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm excited to have clan kittens. I don't really care about anything else.
Wait, there's kittens. You can have like
Yeah, it's
mascots or something.
It's like one of the new rank names.
Oh, okay.
You can make kittens instead of Smiley.
Well, I don't approve of that personally, but I think it's pretty cool that like right now just the clan system, it just seems like it's like a group of people just like talking to each other, but I feel like when they rework the clans and you actually have to like sign up for a clan on the like actual website, and you get your own like clan hall and stuff. I feel like it'll like I don't know, juvenate clan systems a little bit and have people like actually hang out more maybe.
Yeah,
The new-
well, especially the in-game part, right? Because like right now, clans in-game, it's just like a chat channel. But if there's some actual like content built around it, it'll get people to interact more. Because, well, we have most of the people in Olympus like in the Discord and fairly active in there. There are some people that just want to interact with the game through RuneScape, and so having a better means to do that should get some of those people more active, more involved in the community.
The recruitment interface looks pretty sweet, actually. The one where you can like list your clan on a public like sort of board on the interface, and then people can apply, and you can do all the applications and stuff in game. That looks sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty good for like clan advertising as well, I guess.
It'll let you bypass the friends list cap as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're upping it to like 500-700 or something, I think they said.
It's pretty beast.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sweet, and it looks like you're going to be able to sort by Ironman. Like it wasn't part of their original thing with the clan recruitment board. But they said that they'd be adding Ironman as an interest. So it'll also help people like filter and like find clans rather than having to go through the forums. There'll be some degree of like actual searching, which is good. Because like right now you have to like bump your forum post.
Yeah.
Yeah, and aren't the old school clans like you have to go on the RS3, like or the actual RuneScape website and like navigate to the old school section and try to find a clan that's been bumped recently? Is pretty like annoying right now to like find a clan.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
most people just use Discord at this point for their applications. It's so clunky using the forums.
I think like
Mhm.
literally 10 days ago, because we used to use the forum for applications, I wrote on the top of that in bold, like, do not even look below here. Go to this Discord link. Because we just don't even want, like, there's just outdated info, and checking the forum is just tedious. No one wants to do
Recruitment
that.
now is just weird. Like you have to join a Discord, like create a ticket with a bot, like sit there and like apply with like a clan sheet and stuff. If it's like all in game, that'd just be super nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And then
well,
people
some
have
of
to
these
log into the
filters.
clan account to like rank people up. Like
That's true.
that's huge because you can't trust the account with like a ton of people. But I don't know. It's just weird having it tied to a RS account.
No, exactly. I mean, it's such a whack system when it's tied to an account because, like, I don't know, we've had people who are leaders of the clan in the past who are not anymore, who had like, so having to give all those people like the login info to it, and then with Jagex's account security, like, it'll definitely be nice to have just a more official sort of setup.
So is there
That's a little more
still,
decentralized.
I don't know, is there still one highest rank though? Or can you give the highest rank in the new system to multiple people?
I saw there was like an administrator role, which is separate to the other ranks.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, there's an owner and then there's the administrator too. So maybe like one owner and then the
So
admins
would the
have like the same power.
shouldn't surely the owner then should still be an alternate account, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That way, like in case the owner no longer plays the game or isn't in the clan anymore, then you kind of have it unless you can give ownership.
Well, you can have a
The way it
deputy
was in
owner.
RS3, there was like one owner and then just deputy owners. And the owner, like you could just give owner to someone else if you quit or something. But it makes it a bit awkward if someone like quits and then you have to get owner like through mods and stuff. Like that happened with a few clans.
Yeah. Well, I know for us, like, we could take the current like leadership people and just spread out deputy owners, and then you really don't have to worry that like someone's going to randomly quit out of the blue and have that happen. Because the deputy owner aspect is nice, because I think they have essentially identical kind of permissions.
Yeah, as long as they have the same permissions as owner, then I don't like. As long as like I can rank someone without physically logging onto this separate account,
Mm-hmm.
I think that'll make it really nice.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be cool once the clan system's there, like, and involved. I think with that like framework, they'll be able to potentially do other things like clan high scores, or make it so you can do kind of events as a clan. Like, I think it'll switch the focus of updates to maybe have some things that are more clan focused, which would be really cool going forward.
Oh, they're using the clan system as a backbone for Group Ironman, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've said they like need the clan system to exist before they could do group iron, if I remember. So it definitely just goes off that system, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, because they haven't said specifically how it works, but it's like a new way of grouping players. Because right now you can't really like link accounts, and so this is going to be like a way that accounts are linked by being in that same clan, which is definitely cool in terms of what it can potentially do. Because like right now, like your like rank in a clan is like saved on that like the clan account, and then like whether or not you join the CC or not is like saved to your own personal account. There's nothing really linked. It's all stuff saved to like personal accounts.
Yeah, it's pretty
Whereas like the clan as like a separate entity to store that data and connect things will be really cool.
Yeah, that will be like another benefit that people won't have to sit in the CC because like a ton of shit around the game requires you to be in a different CC or stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
it's a
changes.
whole nother interface, then people will permanently, like, technically be in the CC while having the freedom to be in a different.
Yeah.
And you can guest in clans as well, right? Like
Yeah,
you
there's
join
a
as a
separate
guest and check
there's
something
a
out.
separate tab, and you can talk in a different clan as like a
Yeah.
guest.
Like that's really nice. Like people can like preview a clan before joining it.
One thing they did mention though, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but you can only be part of one clan at a time. I think they said.
Like have an actual rank or
Yeah.
guest.
Yeah, you can only be a member of one clan at a time, and then you can join other clan chat channels or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Type in.
I mean, it's probably fine. Like most clans don't allow multi-clanning as is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll make it weird for people who want to split like a PVM clan and like a social clan or a skilling clan. But the fact that you can guest in the other ones, like, and you could even create, like basically like a setting. So people would have to have like a main one, but there's no reason you can't set people up as guests in other ones. But it's because they're still trying. It's still something that's like tied into your character, but
Yeah.
that should be pretty big.
So is there any ideas or did they talk about other than just joining a clan, like something they want to make? Kind of like the Citadel that they did in the.
Yeah. They're gonna have the clan halls, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way they
Yeah,
talked
they.
sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they didn't. I was reading the recent news posts, and they didn't really go into any details about the clan halls. Really, they're gonna like talk about them more later, I think.
Yeah.
From what they said, it just sounds like a private area with like no features. Like it,
Yeah,
I mean, that's probably for the best.
which is like fine, but I was hoping it would be more like RS3 Citadels, where there's like, I guess it would sort of ruin the game, but there's like a bank and stuff in RS3. So on double
Yeah.
XP weekends, you'd skill with all your clan friends and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Which I thought
they
was cool.
mentioned they're not putting a bank or anything in there that would make you like want to skill in that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's just going to be dead content.
I
Like
mean,
nobody's going in there.
they're doing that so far. If they can build out a bunch of random shit around Soul Wars Island, they can probably throw some stuff so people can hang out.
Probably fit something.
I mean, I don't really see a problem with putting a bank there. Like, is it just
Which just
because
make
it's
other
an
banks like
instance?
less deserted.
But like,
Yeah.
there's already everyone's just that crafting guild anyway. So
Yeah.
Well,
They
if
said
you're,
that
if you're
they-
just banks standing, then some people go to secluded banks where you can't even see people anyway.
Yeah.
True.
I'd
Yeah,
imagine that it ends up being a bigger update, and they're just trying to avoid people like, reeing against clan citadels or that kind of content. So they just said, yeah, we want to do something eventually. I'm not going to say what it is. I'm just going to get the push the content through, then update it later.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd rather like the clan system now than have it delayed 3 months for clan citadels to be good at the same time. Like
Yeah,
clan
exactly.
halls.
Because they're probably going to end up pulling a lot of what happens inside the clan hall, and so just to avoid like waiting for polls and that kind of stuff and feedback, I think they're just getting the clan system down because it's like a pretty big engine change, and it'll let them do a lot of things structurally, which I think will be cool. Like I think they could use it for like some cool PVM stuff in the future, like where you could do like you could have like a raid where the clan is in there and doing the raid, and you could even have people like join and leave. Like once you have that like set group thing, Because like right now, the way raids works, like you create like an instance party and you join in. But if it was like a always ongoing thing, you could potentially make some cool content out of it. So
Yeah.
I think just getting the structure in will be great.
We're gonna have to send an at everyone every time there's an update, and then everyone has to go to the town hall to hear it.
Hell yeah.
I remember mentioning in the past, like, I played RS3 as a kid, or teenager rather, but they made you go to the little town hall thing that was in the Citadels whenever they had an announcement. Anyone that was online. And there was benches, and you went there and sat on the bench and listened to someone type out loud.
Man.
Because, like, voice chat didn't exist technically back then. To me, anyway.
Yeah. Hop on Skype.
Unlike now, where, like, Discord, it's just open to everyone to talk.
Mm-hmm.
You would have literally had to add someone on Skype to speak with them.
Yeah.
I mentioned group Ironman earlier.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I got some opinions on that.
Let's hear them, man.
Yeah, I think it's really dumb, and it's going to be a trend for like 2 weeks where streamers make stupid group iron like groups and then burn out after they realize that it's just Ironman, but like worse.
I mean, I think it'll be like okay for some casual people, but casual people are also going to be the people who have the biggest problem with people quitting the game. Like
Almost every group iron group is just going to be one dude like carrying, everyone else slacking, and like just falling apart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like they should like re-poll if people are still interested, because I just feel like the majority of people just like don't care anymore. And like when everyone was talking about it, everyone was hyped about it, but now I just feel like whenever I ask anyone about it, they all have the same opinion that it'll just die in a couple like months or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think from the point that they announced it, people got hyped, made groups, and like I know I had planned out a group then, and of the people, like one of them is banned, one of them is hard quit the game, another one has like soft quit the game, so I would be like the only person left, and that was like a group of people who at the time were playing like neat hours. So I mean, I feel like people will have had that with like the groups that they formed. Like you see how like fragile it is. Like even though someone's playing a lot right now, what are they going to be doing? Like, I at this point like regular Ironman mode's like what 4 or 5 years old, like, and pretty much no one's playing like the same amount now that they were at the start. So like there's no way to like really plan the future of that.
Well, it just doesn't have a future inherently because of the nature of the game mode. It's going to be fun. Yeah, they're going to release it. They'll get good subscriber metrics for that month or whatever. Like Twitch numbers will go up and it'll die down.
Yeah, it'll be more like of like a side thing. Yeah, than like an actual game mode. It would be fun to like introduce friends through it, like because you can sort of like carry them through Ironman. But like once you guys quit or get bored, they're sort of just left there with like this group Ironman. They're not gonna like remake that as a solo Ironman. So
yeah, but they
people just hate remaking their accounts.
I mean, the one upside is if people don't care about the status of being like a regular Ironman versus a group one, those people have basically a regular Ironman account at the end of it that just has a scuffed icon, but it is potentially a way to like get people through the early game, and then they can play just a late game regular Iron. I mean, if they're not competing on the high scores, then it doesn't totally matter.
Yeah, that's true. It might even be funner, like you can just AFK some more like tedious stuff on the side while like playing your fun group Ironman. And like you get AFK bloods while doing other content. You have like a constant stream of blood runes coming in for like your top weapons or Slayer or whatever.
I mean, that's how I was gonna try and play Group Iron. Is I wanted to make like a couple of like niche Snowflake accounts, like a 10 HP account and like a defense tank, and just make like one main iron that can PVM for their gear, and just use those as basically like alts to do all the resource gathering, and just have like a combat account that gets to do fun PVM. I think will be sort of interesting.
Yeah. But I remember someone mentioning like most content's like best done solo. Like even if you can do it in a group with your friends, it's better that like 5 of you are doing solo raids versus in a raid together, like points per an hour and everything wise.
Yeah. Yeah, but for like casual normies that aren't very good at the game, like doing 2 kill bandas solo trips, doing like the mammal method of walking under is not more efficient than them getting a group of 3 together to kill bandas and doing long trips. It's
Yeah.
just compared to like the optimal methods, like the solo one ends up being better. But for like someone who's not super progressed to the game yet, like bandos can be pretty hard.
Hmm.
I'm kind
I
of
feel like
worried about
yeah.
bringing in people that don't really care about Ironman as a game mode, like more into the Ironman game mode, and then just trying to make difficult grinds faster and pushing for stupid updates and stuff in the future.
Yeah, because you have a bunch of people who I think are less committed to the idea of like being an Ironman specifically. Like they're used to the group thing, so they're trading and interacting in their group. So that like barrier of their understanding of the mode's going to be different.
Can you
And how they
convert those
value things.
accounts to regulars, like just main accounts,
No,
not Ironman?
Surely you'd be
no.
able to de-iron them.
Oh, you can de-iron them to regular accounts.
Yeah,
You
that's
just
what I mean.
can't.
So once your friends quit, you could like really just do that, like
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
playing a solo group Ironman.
Yeah, and they also were talking about you can like change groups and stuff, but I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of like so many little things that like are just gonna go wrong if it does come out. Like just so
Well,
many like tiny things. I feel like even the group banks and stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I feel like that part's gonna be weird. Like, what happens when like a dude in your group like decides to hard quit with a bunch of stuff in his invent? It's gonna be annoying. But what they said too is you can basically remove someone from your group and then add a new level 3 account in if you want to add someone new to your group. So for some of these people who have like friends that quit, they could always get like an IRL friend involved and have them join their group and give them some starter stuff. Like there will be stuff that comes out of Group Ironman, but I think it's mostly just aimed at like turbo casual players. Because even that system is just really casual player focused.
Oh, all the remake Andes, when they die on their group hardcore Ironman, they can just whip the D-scam out and go again on top.
Exactly. Exactly. No, yeah, you can chain stuff like that. I think one thing that'll be interesting is what corp cave do these accounts get to see?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Because it could be just a fucked way to just make corp alts, because now one account needs to get the herblore rec, and you can 4-man your bandos. You have one account get the stats for whips. I mean, you could really make like a corp alt factory with group Ironman mode.
Corporal buff, let's go.
Yeah, because right now corporal things like not many people do it because it's somewhat, I wouldn't say like unviable, but most people have to use like a friend's account who quit. And then ideally you have 2 accounts. And then if you wanted to pay for the method, it's like 40 mil an hour. Like,
Yeah.
But if Group Ironman came out like that, I think that would really that'd be nuts. If you could literally just, yeah, they'd
If
have
they
to
just
probably
share the
patch corp
yeah.
specking.
If they share
With,
the instance that
irons.
normal Ironman use, that would be pretty dope.
That'd actually be insane.
How tough
Yeah,
would it be to make another instance for that game mode?
I doubt it's very hard.
Like, surely
With like
they
this
already,
new system and everything, surely they can.
yeah, surely they already have that ability because they did it for irons. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they can do the clan halls, they can probably do this corp instance. It's just like, do they bother?
Yeah, exactly. And
Or sticking
I
with
don't know.
mains.
It's probably not like a thing that Jagex is actively thinking about, but well, if they put them with mains, then they can corp spec alt with main accounts. But
True.
I don't know. I
I'd
kind of
rather
hope.
that, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
won't they be doing corp different, or is it still better to do that? How will the
No,
group
they
irons do
so
it? Are you just saying?
oh for sure they would do team
Yeah.
corp.
Okay.
I'm saying like for the regular Iron game mode making instances. Although
I just meant for
if someone
mains. Like you said, main specking, but like
oh
they wouldn't be
well,
main specking because the group irons would be doing team corp.
I mean you can still do that. Like if one person in the group just wants to kill some corp, he can take his main and spec for himself. Or you don't have to ever get the BGS on your group iron accounts because you just have the main do it. I mean, it won't really matter because they can do 4-man corp and just like hammer it twice and kill it with food. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Have they mentioned if it's going to be like a shared bank between all of you, or you're going to have to trade stuff between each other?
There is a shared bank. I think you have a personal bank, but there's also like a collective bank.
Okay.
So you can basically store stuff so you don't have to have everyone on at the same time. You can kind of slow trade things through the clan bank.
Yeah.
And the houses aren't shared, right? I think
Yeah,
I saw someone mention that they're all
Yeah, the houses
personal.
aren't shared.
Yeah, which kind of makes sense. Like houses are sort of instance to the player. They'd have to like rewrite how houses work.
Could you visit your friend's house that's in your group? I'd assume no.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I think they said that you can't so far.
Yeah, so you'd have to like con grind on like every account.
Yeah, you would.
Which...
Yeah, but Mahogany Homes, and you just have like 2 accounts that got their kingdom done turbo early.
Oh yeah,
Funnel
true.
into one
Like
account.
getting accounts to the con level to make pools is fucking easy.
That's true.
I do think I don't know how competitive like a group Ironman would be, but I think it'd be cool to see like the like 2+2 groups of like gamers trying to like figure out the best way to get all their accounts to max or however like the high scores work. Like alting, I think that'd be pretty cool to see. But I still don't think the game mode really has like too much long term appeal.
I think that alt thing is like the high scores for group irons, like long term, like the thing that the thing that'll matter long term for it is gonna be like 2+2 groups or like 1+1 groups, because you can have a group as small as 2, so someone can just like 1+1 with themselves and like try and rush max and stuff. And I think each of the different group sizes will have their own like high scores page.
I think
So I
that's
think you
messy. I kind
I
of hope that they just stick them all
No,
in the
no.
same one
Can
and
they please not?
make you do 5.
Can they please not keep changing the high scores? It breaks for a year every time.
That too.
Makes them laggier.
They literally couldn't even add Soul Wars, and now they want to add 6 new categories.
Yeah, please don't.
Well,
I use it for.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Do the high scores break when they add Deadman mode? Because they would essentially just be like the Deadman mode and the tournament thing. It's gonna make the high scores plugin on Runelight look really AIDS though.
Yeah.
Just like a bunch of little icons across the top. It's like helmets with numbers in them.
You think they should be like high scores for 2, 3, 4, 5 groups instead of just if you want to compete, then you go for 5?
I think it'd be more interesting because I think duos would work better than 5-mans. I think it's just like so hard to have like a stable 5-man team, whereas like
Yeah.
a duo I think would be more consistent. And so while I don't think 4-man needs to be different than 5-man, I do think duo being separate from 5-man would be kind of cool.
How would the high scores even work? Is it just like sum of all stats?
Yeah, it just sums the 2 accounts, or 3 or 4 or 5.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you had a team of 5, you would just all have to be max. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't feed one at least until max.
I think that they just shouldn't add a high scores for that because it's not. I don't think it's going to be a competitive game mode by nature.
Do you wanna join my group, wewkek? We're rushing 25 bill XP.
No,
Yeah,
I'm already.
are any of you?
Sorry.
Do any of you plan on playing it at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing group, but I'm doing either a solo or duo group with alts. To make like weird snowflake accounts, and I want to potentially have the ability to use it to generate like corp spec alts and like different kinds of like Ironman alts out of it by just making like one main account, feeding it so it can make all the resources for other accounts and do the PVM for it, and then making, because like you can make a 10 HP debower, and Ironman as it stands right now don't get HP XP in the wildy. So if I have the main account get a debo for a 10 HP account that just like makes cannonballs, it'd be like a perfect rushing account. And you can make like a defense tank to hunt black chins that, you know, has 99 defense and like just a car, but just like turbo low stats and can like fight back against other bot accounts.
I guess Camp Q devalued account, going for like the Gmall and all that now. It's just gonna be easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it will make it weird for people who currently have Snowflake accounts. Like, Trist could have his exact same account, but with an Obby necklace.
I
If
mean,
he just was
to
in a group and
me,
had another
it
account hand
just
it to him.
it feels like the difference between an iron and a main, though. At that
Yeah.
point, like you're seeing
Yeah.
this symbol, you're like, obviously, this account did not get this. Like the whole thing
Yeah.
about snowflakes is getting it in unique ways that, like, makes it way harder to get because you restricted yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that just comes down to a personal
Yeah.
thing. Like you just wouldn't care, I guess.
Yeah,
about
Trist's
that it's
account
an
will still be
achievement.
cool, for sure. But if someone else wanted to make an account that, you know, plays similarly but has, you know, a dragon pickaxe, it would be possible. Or like a lot of those accounts like really struggle for GP, so like a skiller could exist in a group. Like someone could make like a cool level 3 in a group that has mains that want a PVM and kind of solve the GP issue of that level 3 account. So I don't know, you'll get some cool stuff out of it, and that part I'm excited about. But I would never like stop playing the main iron to play that, or stop playing this UAM that I've been playing, like, because it is a different game mode that matters less.
My plans for it, I'm going to be in a 5-man group. We're going to rush Dragon Axes, get 90 woodcutting, and then go for 1 bill woodcutting.
Oh yeah.
And just do redwoods for like a year and a half.
That'd be kind of sick.
So
Who are you recruiting to the group? Are you gonna get like Sander in there? Maybe
yeah.
Mafur? You might get Mafur out of retirement. He's kind of a big redwood gamer.
What about Mickey?
Ooh, yeah.
The whole redwood. You can just get and do it again.
Honestly, like you can get some pretty stacked teams going for 1 bill redwoods.
So
just
cool.
Fat Clouds,
but
as a streamer, I know wewkek mentioned like it'll probably, like, entertainment value be pretty high. Like as a streamer, I assume you're gonna try it.
Yeah, I'm not like an average streamer. I'm like going for like, 200 mil in XP, but I think it'd be a cool like side project, like with some friends streamers for like a couple months or something, trying to like, I don't know, rush PVM, but it just doesn't appeal to me personally. But I could see how other streamers could like really like doing it for a little bit. But I just don't see how. I just don't see like the long term. Like it just seems like it'll be like a dead man mode or something. Just like people do it for a few months or something, just never come back. But I would play it like on like I would be doing like playing like doing souls or something on my main Ironman and like playing on it on the side or something for fun with like Sebe or some other streamers or something.
Gotcha. All right, I think let's go into the new content coming to the game. Let's start
Excited.
with the fishing boss.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Wintertide 2.
Yeah.
I personally like it because I don't think the like AFK group activities are like I don't know really old school feeling, but I personally like AFKing and getting almost EHP or like whatever. But I didn't really get to look at the stream, but it sounds interesting. I just don't like how they're trying to make everything into group activities now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's not like the best method though, I guess it's not a big deal. But I don't know. I feel like group oriented skilling's just I don't know, a little weird to me.
Yeah. I mean, I hope the content's balanced in a way where, I mean, kind of like m- just make like minnows but group content. Like minnows gives you like a lot of food. It's kind of like an AFK activity, but it's not good. And like if this boss is that, that'd be awesome. But I really don't want him to like try and like force it to be good in a skilling way. I'd rather they like force it to be good in like a giving you just a dumb amount of fish way.
Well, with the proposed rates, it's just gonna suck. It's like 80k an hour or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like fine if
Is
you're
it
low
low
with
effort?
like 5 tick barb.
Yeah.
True. It is gonna be better than 5 tick. It's gonna be better than any like AFK fishing you can do, but it's still gonna suck compared to like 3 tick, 2 tick barbler, especially. It's probably like 0.5 of that, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I think it's fine.
that's like exactly what it should be.
yeah, it feels a niche for sure.
Yeah.
Because if you
like,
want to fish and you're like casual, like you're not going to sit there and 3 tick. So you can really just AFK barb. And that's like it. And that's pretty
Yeah.
not engaging. And dropping inventory of fish isn't like fun.
oh, maybe this method will be sick on mobile.
I doubt it. Wintertide sucks on mobile.
True.
Everything sucks on mobile.
Yeah, I hate mobile.
Need mobile runelight.
True. I tried doing a birdhouse run on mobile and I was like, I have to like hold
You
down
have to
right click.
hold left click. Yeah.
I
Just
just
sit
logged
there
out.
like holding your hand over a birdhouse for like 10 seconds. That shit sucks.
What are the
Yeah,
rewards for the fish thing?
Tome of water, fish barrel.
Yeah, and like a whatever the fishing outfit is, recolor, I think.
Is it Toma
Yeah.
water just shit? I mean, I've heard like it being memed.
I mean, it's not amazing, but it will be for people who don't have a Kodai. Like, you just might as well do that, right? So,
If I
True.
had one, I would probably use it, ice barraging, but I'm not gonna go get one. Probably.
Does it give accuracy buff or percentage or because would it be
Yeah.
better than an arcane for Slayer?
I assume it's the
No.
same as Toma Fire. Wouldn't
yeah.
it be?
So it has some accuracy. It's not competitive with like an arcane if you really want
Okay.
accuracy. But like it's like special buff. Like the Toma Fire makes fire spells super strong. This just makes like freezes last longer, I think. So
And then you need to charge it with pages too, right?
what damp pages?
Yeah, soaked
Okay.
pages.
Soaked.
I assume
Yeah.
they're a bit more like not as big of a problem as like burnt pages. Because I
Yeah.
think they hopefully learned from their mistake there. It's just
And they're just
Well,
worse.
yeah, they're just
Yeah.
they're PK content. Like it'll be kind of annoying when you I think get frozen longer at Black Chins with it, but I don't think there's any like meta use for it. I think it's mostly a PK item, so you really won't go through pages. The harm orb kind of makes the Tome of Fire pages a little bit fucked, and just if you actually want to use it early game.
Wait,
But-
it stacks with swamp bark armor. So if 14.4 second entangle becomes 23 seconds.
Yeah,
What?
Nice.
yeah. You can go like make a cup of tea while you're waiting for your entangle to wear off.
Yeah, wow.
No, it's gonna be like legitimately annoying at black chins. But I don't know. They've been trying so hard to make super entangle. Like super entangle's been pulled so many different ways, so they just finally found a way to sneak it in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple different updates.
I imagine like Jagex is just hearing from like the PK community a lot that they want it so bad that they're just really trying to force it. Which because it kind of makes sense. Like right now, like Ice Barrage is like the longest freeze and does damage. So if it makes people able to PK in the normal book, I guess that's a thing.
I
I just, I think it's I just think it's dumb because I hate Wintertod so much, and this is just Wintertod but water.
yeah, and I'm wondering if like if they'll have a when it comes out if there'll be a method like the winter tot like hopping method. If you can like start a game or something and like some little thing like that to make it like I don't know 100k an hour instead of 80k.
Oh, the hard mode as well, because 80k is the normal mode XP rates.
Oh,
So
is
if
there
they
a
do
hard mode?
end up,
Yeah.
I don't think there is like yet, but they want to add one, so that might just buff the rates to be more competitive with like 3-tick fishing or something. But because I don't know how hard it can really be. Like this doesn't seem like challenging content as is.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
made it. It's a safe death too, right? For
Yeah.
hardcores.
Give me a 10
Yeah.
HP hardcore and go in there.
What is it, lightning instead of snow falling? They'll just probably add a ton of lightning and like just make everything do more damage. I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
God mode.
Yeah. I mean, if it gives you a better rate for getting like the book and pages, like, that's cool. But if they do want to make it like 100k XP per hour at that point, because I just can't imagine it's going to a hard mode fishing boss is just not going to be the same thing as like 3-tick fishing in terms of the APM and like timing required. So
Yeah.
don't really want it to compete super hard for XP because it's sort of its own thing. But if they want to give it like better loot, like I'm all for giving like casual players like 5 mil worth of fish an hour. Like, not worried about it.
5 mil.
That the fish barrel looks kind of nice for Karams. I think it goes automatically into the barrel before your event or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Sorta nice.
big for mobile blondes.
So you probably won't use the butler anymore. It was bank.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah.
Or else you'd be waiting for like your butler to come back. Which
Yeah, you
I mean
could
that's
just
pretty
have, like,
fine.
Yeah, just have like craft cape in the event.
Craft cape, like what's the quickest fairy ring? Like quest cape? I guess still house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like 4 ticks to a ring, including teleport.
No, I mean it'll be interesting. It doesn't really seem like it's focused in like people who just skill for XP. It's kind of aimed at people who like to get something out of their skilling, which which will be cool. And like the pouch or the fish sack is kind of the same thing. Like it's not like meta to fish carom bonds, but if you want to get food to like PBM or do something like that yourself, like the fish sack will just make that slightly easier.
Are you guys actually gonna do this? Because I'm probably just not touching it.
I mean if it's good, yeah. But
If it I like doing anything that's AFK and like 0.7 EHP. So depending on if it's, I guess it depends on like what supplies you get or how much fish. I think they said you're getting like you could get gold ore and stuff too. I guess it depends on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll do it. I'll probably do it for the pet, and I did like the recolor of the angler too. Look kind of cool, so I might at least do it for at least the angler.
Yeah, and
I'll
I think
do
this will.
it.
this will actually be probably really good for my UAM account because it's gonna end up giving you noted supplies, and like early game like noted food is a little bit weird. So I think I'll probably do it on that account for that, and I might try and get the tome and the sack or the barrel on the main iron.
Yeah, I think I'll just go for the barrel if it is how it sounds at Karams. If they go in automatically and then it's basically banking 2 invents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Sounds pretty chill. All right.
What about shooting stars? You want to talk about that?
Shooting star time.
Yeah. So they've updated shooting stars. So you don't get the initial find XP anymore, which was like the big issue I think everyone had with it. Because on RuneScape 3, as it is right now, you can just run around each location, get like 1,000,000 XP per an hour, like just tapping the stars, being the first to find it. And old school was basically introducing exactly that with like a 20% nerfed XP rate or something. So it's still like 800k XP for finding the initial star, but they've taken that away. And we don't really know the XP rate otherwise of just straight mining it, I think. I think they said like 40k or something, but that just seems super garbage.
But they gave us a number of we don't expect players to achieve more than 30k an hour or something, but we don't know if that's like just standing there doing nothing for 40 minutes.
Yeah, we have no idea. And the rewards are like lackluster right now, right? It's like essence packs, and it's basically just Motherlode Mine Store.
Yeah, like no
without the
one's
prospector.
doing it for the rewards at this point.
There was there's a new ring. I forget what it is.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
it gives you a +4 mining boost, I think, and there was and it I think it has a chance to respawn the ore. I could be wrong, and it can stack with the Varrock armor or whatever. So it seems like it'll be just a straight buff to mining XP at like or at granite or whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope the +4 boost doesn't work at granite post 99 because that would just be stupid. Like
it's I think it's invisible, so hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, they have the invisible boost, and then also the. Let me look it up really quick.
I think it's a 10% chance to get a double ore, and it stacks with everything.
Yeah,
it's like a 10% Varrock armor type proc, but that uses charges first. So the +4 invisible boost won't use charges. You could just wear the ring like uncharged for that.
Yeah. And I think charging it is, I mean, if you're doing 30k mining XP now to charge it, it's like not worth charging it for granite.
yeah.
But like you could technically store XP and do like a big like day or something, and sort of take over like granite high scores.
I hope people don't do that. That would be cringe for robots.
They will.
No,
for sure.
Yeah,
It'll just be the day out of mining.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's also a recolor for prospector. That's about it, I guess.
Hell yeah. I hope they add prospector to the shooting star rewards, because doing Motherlode Mine for so long for that just sucks. The bottom floor is like so awful. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, they need to do that.
It's what, like a 10-15 hour grind or something silly?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually just insane.
It's probably the least fun thing I've ever done, was getting prospector.
Yeah, you need it for as a hard Valley Diary. So it's like a relatively early wreck, but like Motherlode Mine's like super shit until like 85 mining when you start getting rune ore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like best to wait until then. So you're like delaying fairly hard by 85 mining if you want to be efficient, that sort of just sucks.
Yeah, no, it's so weird too. Like prospector just takes like way too long having to do like a terrible method. It's like it's nice. I mean, I get how like angler is sort of a similar thing, but I would rather get angler again than get prospector. Like
well, they did something similar where they added angler to aerial, and honestly, aerial's like fine. It takes longer real time, but it's really not that bad with the XP you're getting.
Yeah, because aerial's like a like fairly efficient method. So even though it takes longer to get there, you lose less time doing it from there. So it's a pretty nice trade-off. it's kind of lame that this is another 30k per hour mining method if they did add it to it, because it would be nice if there was like, potentially like a higher effort, like decent way to get it, so you weren't having to go out of your way for it. Because like a lot of these skilling sets like aren't necessarily worth getting unless you're going for 200 mil in the skill, because they just take too long to get. Like they don't save you the time that they take. So having like a slightly more efficient way to get prospector would be kind of nice.
Yeah, and they could lower the price or something because I think they just fixed fishing trawler for the either the games to be shorter or something, and just made it like a little bit easier to get or quicker anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Fishing trawler's been buffed a little bit because like you can't get duplicate pieces. You kind of get them in order, and the games I think like fail less and stuff. Now they're shorter. Like they're doing stuff to fix that, but it'd be nice to have something happen to prospector so it's less awful to get, because I don't know. I'm just like really anti MLM. I think it's like
Yeah,
awful content.
and it just everyone. I don't know. It seems like the vast majority of people just like that's what they do for mining, and like even volcanic mine is just as AFK, if not more. Like for the most part, and like double the XP, and people, I don't know, they're just scared to learn, I guess, but I don't understand why people are so like always at MLM all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's weird because I feel like volcanic mine is, you kind of need a group for it, and I think the people at MLM is like the best example of like why the clan update's going to be good. Because there's a Discord where you could totally find teams and learn everything you need to learn about VM, but not everyone can like find that because it's not on like the RuneScape site. You don't find it out through the game itself.
Uh-huh.
So then plenty of people just never, basically never have a way to get a group to do it, and so the clan system is going to kind of reach those people that don't know how to like use Discord to find a group for a thing.
Yeah, that's fair because I don't think I don't know too many people who do VM, but I don't know of anyone who's like learned VM with their friends. Everyone seems to go through the Discord to like find like how to learn it. So would be cooler to not have to like search Discords to do like skilling content.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
For the
I think that
shooting stars, I I saw there was like a POH recolor, like space theme, and I was behind that. Like I feel like
Yeah.
POH recolors are just harmless, and it seems like a why not.
yeah, people love those. They love POH recolors and pets.
Yep.
Yeah,
I love the POH, hate the pet.
We need
Adding
the
like pets to this content to force people to do it would. If they add a pet to
It,
this that would just suck.
it's dumb, but like Reddit people love it.
the
Yeah,
little
Reddit loves
alien,
it.
the little alien.
They're removing that alien. People didn't like it.
What?
Yeah. You trade the rewards and like Felidor now with one of the miners
With an alien?
instead of the little alien. Nope, no alien.
yeah. No, fuck.
I liked
Fuck
him.
Well,
yeah.
now we can't have a pet because what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
Just let us
Rock
use like
fertility.
let us use a star like a little star shard or whatever it's called on the golem, and
Yeah.
turn it
Oh,
into an
100%
alien.
An alien.
do that.
Alien
Oh, you
golem.
want? Yeah,
That's all
I
I have
mean,
on the words.
yeah, I don't think there's a ton to like know about it yet because it's not content that's actually in the game. It's just future content potentially.
Mhm. We'll have to see what the rates and everything actually comes out to. Because I'm
Oh,
sure there's some like silly method they haven't thought about to get really good rates or something. With like pre-scouting rocks and all that sort of stuff.
And isn't the boss doesn't it scale from like 2 to 40 people or something?
The fish boss.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
we're not talking about that anymore, are we?
Oh no, but I mean, I yeah, we don't know how that content's going to work because of scaling.
Yeah.
So it'll be it'll kind of come down to how Jagex actually implements it, because there's so much stuff. Like, I just feel like with all of these updates, like the community tends to find ways to get way over the rates that Jagex thinks are possible. So it'll be interesting to see how good of a job they do at balancing this kind of content. Whether there's going to be a hopping method like you mentioned, whether like there's going to be some kind of optimal scaling. So either, potentially it's hard to find a world because duo or solo is ideal, or you need to have things like Wintertod worlds because 40 man's ideal. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I hope so long as, like, if there is, like, some issue or something super abusable, I hope they fix it quickly. Because, like, traditionally, they fix stuff pretty slow, if at all.
On
So I
the
hope they sort of stick to their 80k XP an hour, right? And they're not just, like, content if it's, like, 120k or something. With, like, some scuffed scaling and methods and stuff.
More like a VM kind of situation.
yeah,
like VM's what, like 103, like upwards to like up to 110 per an hour or something with like
2+2s.
Yeah.
It's like 105 or something.
Because people can mine like the last rock with like the bronze pick and your main is like a crystal pick and stuff. It's like stuff like that they didn't really like think of when updating it.
Well, and I mean VM on release you get ticket.
Yeah, exactly. And then people like just abuse that ticking mechanic and didn't tell anyone.
And like, who knows if you
sucks.
can like pick this star and like do the kind of like a 1.5 tick sort of thing on it, because it's gonna be like an object on the ground, like a decent enough chance you can do something like that. So
Yeah.
who knows? We'll see when it comes out.
And I think it's cool they're releasing like all these alternative skilling methods. Just I don't think we were gonna talk about this, but Sepulcher, however you pronounce it, I've never done it and don't know how to pronounce it, but I feel like they overpower that. Like if they made like a new way to skill that's like really engaging, and a little less XP than the best method, I think that'd be cool. But even since or if it would like give you better loot, but like Sepulcher, it gives you like what was like a third over the best XP at the time, and it gives you like billions of GP. I think they need to like not do that again.
Yeah, it's definitely overtuned.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's definitely hard, especially compared to old agi methods. But it's just the skill going from what it was to what it is now is kind of stupid as a jump.
I just think it could be like 75k and still be fine.
Yeah. Yes, like 80 max would just be fine.
Just doesn't need to be like whatever people get nowadays, 100, 105, I don't even know. While giving you this GP input that didn't even exist at all before.
Well, especially in Ironman, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, hardcore. That's got to be like a hardcore Ironman's best friend is Sepulcher.
Yeah, loading on floor 5, that's like the best money they can make at the moment, I think.
I think it's nice that it sounds bad, but it's nice that like forces people to engage with like just harder, more challenging content.
Yeah.
I think if it was like a 70 or something,
people
would
just
still just do Artie. Yeah,
that's fair.
It's like Brimhaven's like the best, but like Artie's just easier.
Yeah,
so
and
just
it's
keep doing
brain
Artie.
dead.
But do you think 80? Surely 80 plus GP,
I think like an
people
80,
would be like
85 or something is like high enough to force you to do it. I think 100 is pretty nutty.
Yeah, well, on Iron, Artie's like 67, 68k effective with the herb, I think.
Yeah.
So it's like really still not that bad compared to 80.
But yeah, I definitely like Sepulcher.
I would do Sepulcher at 80 still, but I think a lot of people just wouldn't bother.
I think a lot of mains, because it's like easier to justify it on main. Like you can play so much more money ults and stuff on the side with your agi. Whereas like Iron, you really just don't need that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think Sepulcher is kind of weird because The game is just not like complicated enough, I think. So, for people going for like 200 mil in a skill, you can just get so good at the content, but they balance it around. Like people, are gonna have to like learn this, and they aren't gonna get very good rates. And I think they totally ignored the fact that people would just be, completing every single lap with basically continuous forward progress. I think they assumed that you would always like fail sometimes or have issues, and I think Sepultura just kind of points out that they aren't really like with how the game engine works. Like you just can't really make content that's hard enough that over a long enough period of time you can't perfect it, because like everything happens in 0.6 second intervals. Like you don't need like a nuts reaction speed. You just need to like really understand how the mechanics work. And it's probably why Sepultura could have used a lower end XP rate, and they could have like, I don't know, they could have done something to make it so it doesn't nerf the learning process as much. Because I think the only reason the rate is so high is because it's so hard for people to get into. But once you get good at it, you get really good at it.
It was balanced around people making a decent amount of mistakes, and once you're good at it, you'd like barely just make any mistakes. You're getting like 95, 100, even with looting. So
They
How
would,
many
they would
players can like
assume.
maintain that though? Like, do you guys know many players who can get the 95, 100 consistently?
yeah. I mean, I can do 95.
Well,
pretty
surely
much.
it's just like anyone that
I don't-
wants to do that long term should
Would it
be
be
able
less
to.
than like 50 or something, right? Like,
Oh, sure, but it's mostly just like HLC people doing a significant
Yeah.
amount of this 99 XP to get like have enough time spent there to get good.
so
at it.
I think to them it's like that's like fine if
Yeah, they
these
don't
like
care
20,
about
30
that.
people wanna get
It's
100k.
it's balanced around people getting 99 and leaving, not getting
Yeah.
like dark race form leaving.
Because like
Which I guess is
you're gonna start at 92, right? And then it's gonna take you probably a few million XP before you even get decent at it.
Yeah, and then you're just done.
And then
So,
you're like, oh well, I'm already 97. You do 2 levels now, and then those people like 99% of the game, right? They see 99 and they're out of there forever.
Mhm.
Yeah. Or they stay till the ring and just leave at the ring.
yeah, and that's like what 200 laps on right. It's not even that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like you're not getting super fast in that time period.
All right, let's talk about them basically reusing content from RS3 and like kind of how do we feel about that, like with the shooting star and
Soul Wars and Shooting Stars.
yeah, just
like
like
the
them pushing out
recent notable
updates that have already existed completely and throwing it into the game compared
that's
to
like
original content.
that's like God Wars and Court Beast too aren't technically part of old school, but they got added in because
I
they
think
came out right after.
yeah, I think that's
those
a
are a
little
bit more
different
like
because
iconic though.
it's iconic and also like look when they were added, right? Like 2014, 2013
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Like the game had like 6 people working, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it makes sense that they're just rehashing content at that point. But at like if you look at the old school team now, though, you
So many.
like
Well, not
every
just
time you
what the
refresh, there's a new name.
well, not just what the old school team is, but like the amount of revenue that the game pulls in. Like they definitely could invest in people to generate new content. Like I don't know if you've seen like their budget numbers, but they make a ton, and what they actually invest back into the game is super tiny. It like mostly goes back to paying the people that bought the game back for buying the game. But most of the money generated from like membership fees and stuff doesn't actually get put back into the game and generating new content, which is kind of annoying because they could do so much if they just put a higher percentage of that budget into designing new content. Like you'd have the ability to, potentially pay some like people to test the content that are actually good at the game. Like you could, because there's plenty of people in like the high level community that would offer to do that, and you don't have to, and they wouldn't have to rehash content like this because I don't think there's any nostalgia for Shooting Stars. Like, didn't Shooting Stars come out like after EOC? Like it came
It
out
was
after
2008, I think.
It was pretty early. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Man, I
Yeah,
never
that's
did
like
that in
how.
RS3.
Yeah, like no one really cares about it. I think it really depends what sort of content they add. Like if they added dungeoneering, I think that's awesome. If they add
And
stuff like, I really want to see penguins. Penguins are super fun.
True.
But like, I don't really care about Soul Wars. I don't care about Shooting Stars. I don't know who was asking for either of those. I think I've seen people want Fist of Gothics and like Stealing Creation, which I guess is fine.
Oh, I played the shit out of those.
I didn't see Soul Wars demand. Like after the cluster flutter bot nuke or whatever, that minigame just was dead. Like real
Well,
people did not play it.
I feel like the only people that like really played the shit out of it were Snowflake accounts, and then they got rid of that aspect. Like you can't train Slayer in it on a level 3.
Yeah.
Like it's like if people were like, oh man, I really liked legitimately playing Pest Control, because it's kind of like they added Pest Control in but without the void, like the thing
Yeah.
that made it like different. It's just like, yeah, you can do Pest Control for like a really bad XP per hour and then a pet.
But touching on the point you made earlier, Mason, about them not reinvesting that much into the game, from a selfish point of view, I'm pretty happy that like they're just wasting like their time and not really reinvesting into the game, like making Steam client and useless crap nobody cares about. Because I'm pretty happy with how the game is now and don't really want to see new updates, even though it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Like,
but part of that not reinvesting in the game, they can't get a good team to test things. Like
yeah,
people, I mean, you have people like Dead Wilson who live close by that have like offered to test things if they could pay him a salary to do it, but they just aren't willing to pay someone who would
who's
potentially.
and yeah.
I mean, I just think it's a really small percentile that are completely fine with new updates and new content not coming out. Like
Yeah, that's
the
true.
majority of the player base is like, I mean, even if you look on Twitter, like 99% of the PVM community right now is like, or like high level PVM community is like, we haven't had a single new thing in 4 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Like these people are just moving on from the game because they have nothing to do. They've killed Tob and Cox 4,000 times.
Like
Just
even
that
Nightmare
scale.
feels like filler content. Like I don't know, it's giga high drop rates for armor that's like pretty whatever. And it's
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just very repetitive.
It's
yeah,
just a
Nightmare's so
problem.
fucked for the like PVM Iron community
Mhm.
because the drop rate is so fucked and like the benefit of it is so small. And just like the resources, the timing to run there, like just every part of that is so bad for PVM Irons that like a lot of my like PVM Iron friends have just not bothered with the content. I mean, me included. I do all the other PVM content, but there's like I'm not like excited to like wake up in the morning and go do Nightmare. Like fuck that.
Yeah. I'd love to like grind a mace or something, but the drop rate is just too low. I just don't really like the boss. Like if
Well, they
given
don't
a
want to
snow
have
hose, I just don't like
like
it.
you just have to run from the boat, don't you? Like they still haven't changed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 2 minute run or something. Like you have to stem for it.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
not.
it's terrible how they scale it too. Like if you do anything over a 5-man, it's just like you're wasting your time pretty much. Like all the people doing masses, like I feel like if you're doing a mass and kill it fast, you should like bring more items in and but when you do it in like a giant mass, it just makes the rates like way rarer for everyone. It's weird how it works.
Hmm.
But I mean,
Yeah. Well, because they tried to copy Corp with that, but I don't know. I don't know. Like it's because it's like trying to make it. I don't know. It's just like it's so bad, and that is like the only real big like PVM update, and it's it feels so much like filler because all it is a long amount of time, but like it's not that hard to like learn how to do Nightmare. The mechanics aren't all that complicated. Like you basically just like play with game sounds on and turn your prayers when you have to turn your prayers.
Is there any content from RS3 that you guys remember and want to see in the game?
Penguins, like you said.
Hell yeah.
I didn't really play too much back then. I'm not too familiar with many of the updates.
Like a dungeoneering or something would be sick. Like surely they have the team for it now. Like
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago they had a way smaller team. They're like, yeah, we'd have to work on this for a full year. But I think like now they could probably churn that out in like what 4 or 5 months or something. With like probably not even the whole team.
Yeah, and that would
And that's
be
like proven good content.
Well, and it's so good from like a PVM aspect. Like I love that skill, and like all I did for EOC was PVM because even if they released engineering and just they like don't have to make it a skill, just like the concept of like grinding through those raids. I mean, that's why I was really excited about the gauntlet. But then the gauntlet is just like a like turbo budget version. It's like a taste of like what dungeoneering could be. But it's, you know, one floor. It's really repetitive, and like you do get the Blade of Zelda out of that, which is a cool item. But like dungeoneering was like a pretty long process to then go through and get the the chaotic rapier and the crossbow and stuff. And from an Ironman perspective, those are such good items because it's not like an RNG thing. It's like legitimately like grinding the content and stuff. It's like I don't know. It'd be so nice to have like some best in slot items come from something like dungeoneering that's like really grindable content and consistent. Like so you know you don't end up with someone like you who's like 3,000 raids drive a T-bow, or someone else who you know goes and gets a T-bow and 2KC. Like the fact that best in slot things from PVM right now have these like huge like time gaps in between kind of sucks. Whereas like the way dungeoneering rewards worked, it'd be consistent, and you get to like pick a route. Like, do you want to get a rapier as your first item, or do you want to get the crossbow? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be great to see content like that. And if they can't make content like that, I'd like to see them try and like borrow some of those mechanics with how you like purchased rewards with from doing like multiple runs, and just to try and introduce that, because like Nightmare, like part of what makes it suck so much is the best in slot gear to kill Nightmare comes from Nightmare, and the drop rate on it is like ridiculously rare. So you can spend like 1,000 hours to get a mace if you get unlucky on it. And like
That's
the
like,
best thing to kill Nightmare is the fucking mace.
yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
sort of like the Cox logic as well. Like, not every best in slot is from Cox, but like a rigor and stuff is
Yeah.
like massive. The DHCB super nice.
Yeah.
Like,
And
but those
yeah,
are like nice gradual upgrades, and you can get better upgrades outside of the raid. Whereas like Nightmare, Ironman can't really use a scythe. I mean, you can use a scythe if you don't care much about money, and you can somehow buy a ton of bloods.
yeah.
But like overall, including buying 100k bloods an hour, it's worse DPS than a bludgeon. It's just like,
yeah.
I don't know.
And yeah, and it gets like way outclassed by a mace. So like the time that it takes someone to do like an unaltered solo, you know, like with a mace, people are getting an Inquisitor, they're getting like 18-minute times versus without a mace, they're like 21. Kind of that sort of ratio. Like, eh, just getting lucky on that item just shaves like a fucked amount of time, and it's just such an RNG slog that I really miss that aspect from dungeoneering. That it was just you got to basically level 80 in the skill, and you had enough points to buy like one chaotic item, and then you can go continue grinding it and get more of them.
How do you
Because
feel
your
about
first chaotic was hell.
people doing like 1+1? And I mean, that's like 12, 14-minute kills, isn't it? It's way faster than
Yeah.
solos.
It's yeah. I mean, it almost like I really don't like how much better it is to alt that, but it's almost like fixing the content and getting it back into kind of a more reasonable scale. Because you basically duo with an alt account. You do all of your kills almost twice as fast, and you have the same drop rate as a solo because the alt account does like just under the like 60 something percent threshold and then doesn't get kill credit. Or
It's
the alt
pretty dumb.
account.
You're basically just DPS ulting for yourself on an Ironman account.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah, I really don't like that it's become that, but I kind of I think it makes it more reasonable to try and actually finish the drops from Nightmare. Like if you just want to organically get all the drops from Nightmare, like it takes a ridiculous amount of time. So anything to make it faster, like what the fuck ever.
But yeah, you talked about PVMers running out of content earlier. I just wanted to say, you if you feel like you've run out of content on the game, just start scaling on an Ironman. It's fun.
Yeah.
You put hours in, you always get progress from it. It can't go dry, and you'll never run out of content, pretty much.
To be fair though, Nightmare, I just looked it up, was released on February 6th last year, so it's been over a year without like any like big PVM updates.
Yeah.
So
I
hopefully
think
they got
Nightmare was
something
after
for
a
him.
dry spell, so it's like
And
Uh-huh.
like even there's nothing really even planned either, other than combat achievements. Like, it's
Yeah,
not
at least
like raids 3 will be out in a year. Like we don't. It's just no timer on it. No, like they have no direction of telling us there will be a big PVM update
honestly,
like that.
combat achievements do seem pretty nice. Like people need like reasons to do the content. And I think that gives them a reason to do the content. Like if you're a main, you just care about the GP an hour. And most mains, like if they really want to make GP, they can make like an insane amount. Just like corpse specking for people and stuff. Like they don't really care about the money. So I think combat achievements are pretty nice to give people a goal.
Yeah, it's kind of like pets, and
Yeah.
it's not tradable, so it doesn't run into the problem on like the main game mode that the only thing ever worth doing is like the thing that's the best GP per hour, and everything else is kind of a waste of time by comparison.
And we'll do like untradables collection work type goals.
Yeah, like all of those updates are pretty good for those kind of people because it gives them a reason to grind something because you just don't like organically get a reason any other way.
I think the combat reward, like the rewards from combat achievements are like pretty lackluster. Like I don't think they're a great incentive for doing them. I think it's more so like if you want to do the challenges, you'll do them.
I would compare them to like in direction and in what they are. They seem pretty similar to achievements in World of Warcraft for like similar content. So I quite like the direction they're taking with making you do things in ways you usually wouldn't, instead of just making you like speedrun the content or whatever. That's just boring.
Yeah, like it shouldn't. The master one shouldn't be kill 150 Zuck. Like that would just you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
That just
So
sucks.
I think like one of the Grandmaster runs, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Grandmaster. It's like don't take any avoidable damage. Like no one on your top team can take any avoidable damage from any one of the top bosses in a single run. Like that's like super cool and something you can grind out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like the combat achievement thing. Like I think that is going to be really hype to try and do this. I just wonder how long that content actually lasts because you only have to do that once. So you get together like a really good top team, and then you do your one top where you can't take avoidable damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of a similar thing for all the other bosses, and then you kind of are back to having like it's still not like it's still not a new boss, and it's still not like it's not content to really like fill your time. So you just sort of would finish the diary and go back to doing the best GP per hour thing if you're a main, or if you're an Ironman, you go back to skilling, waiting for content to come out.
I like
Or
that
you-
it's like low resource, like it doesn't take much time to make a combat achievement, but it can take a player way longer to actually do an achievement than you spend making it, which I think is nice if they expand on it in the future.
Yeah.
It's like new bosses and
Like
everything.
I was gonna say, like combat achievements 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
And they can make it like hard because the rewards are pretty whatever. It's like I think finishing all the Grandmasters is like God Wars takes like 30 KC to enter now. Like Ecumenical Keys, higher drop rate, XP lamp, like a hilt that tallies to God Wars dungeon. Like it's nice, but like if you lose it, it's not the end of the world. Like if you
Mhm.
don't have that, it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't think anything really big should come from them.
Yeah.
Like
It's not
we
nice that it
shouldn't see
doesn't.
a Vorkath revive or anything.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with it not having like something particularly nuts come out of it as a reward, just because I think it will be fairly fast for some people to finish, and I think some people are gonna be kind of soft locked out of doing it
Mhm.
because like doing a top where no one on your team takes damage, like not everyone knows people who are good enough to do that, and then trying to like grind that out on 416 sounds pretty miserable.
Never do
Yeah,
it.
well, then you're
Yeah.
just gonna join the freaking achievement diary service Discord or whatever.
Yeah, true. There's just going to be like a Discord where a bunch of like obliv people will carry you through.
Honestly, yeah. If you just sit outside the rooms, like I wonder if that counts. Like, I mean, you probably need participation, but
Yeah.
that'd be pretty funny.
I don't really like speed run tasks personally.
Yeah.
Even though like I get it, I don't know. They just seem. I guess maybe my
I think-
playstyle. I just don't like speed being a factor.
I think some amount of like speedrun tasks are kind of interesting. Like if they set it to be like, you know, kill Zuck in under 75 minutes, like I think stuff like that can be kind of cool, but it's rough because if they balance it around max gear, then for like certain irons, it's just not going to be super obtainable. Like
Yeah.
something like a 75-minute Inferno is a lot harder for someone like Nechs that has an ACB versus me with a T-bow,
And
even though he's better at the game than I am.
they said they RNG relying on that's kind of annoying, but I think they said when they released it they didn't release Grandmaster to like with thinking everyone will finish it, like only the highest tiered, but still an RNG like base thing and item block thing's kind of annoying for Ironman anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it works because the reward isn't super amazing. So even though, because I've seen like a lot of people complaining that they already gave you instant God Wars on Ironman anyway, which was like one of the upsides to doing the diary. So there isn't a ton left. It's like a teleport to God Wars and slightly less KC or slightly faster EQ keys. But
Isn't
I think that-
Grandmaster not the rewards? I thought it
No,
was.
is it not?
Is it?
It just caps at Master. I thought Grandmaster was like the Zuck element stuff. But that could be wrong.
Okay. I guess I'm just thinking of like. I remember like Port Gazard saying like an impossible list. I thought maybe it was that.
I think
Maybe.
he was. I know people in Summit or whatever were talking about how they wanted to have like a fairly impossible list.
Hello.
I think that was more proposed because they were talking about like, well, what if you had like 10 Jads? So you had to like step under one and off ticket, like making up sort of like meme combat achievements that are possible in the game of making just really hard content.
All right. Yeah. It
Skilling
looks like Grandmaster does have the rewards.
Yeah.
What if they did it for like, this is dumb, but like skilling. So like mine an amount of granite in an hour, or like do a support, like kind of like on leagues.
Yeah.
I like
So
that,
like
honestly. That's cool.
do a lap of sepulcher in under 6 minutes or something like that.
That'd be
I
cool. I,
think-
feel like they don't care about skills
Yeah.
though, or like that.
I think all of us think it would be cool, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think the
yeah.
majority of the game is like, shut up and give us Kraken 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the cool, like a skilling version of that would be really cool for pushing people to learn about different methods, because like for a lot of the people that go and do MLM, they do it because they think that's how they should train mining, and they don't really like look up like, is there a better way to train mining? And if there's a skilling achievement thing that says, you know, mine some amount of like granite, which that requires you to do like 3-tick granite, like it would give kind of awareness to those kind of things. Because like if you just like walk around and like talk with like 1,300 total accounts or 1,400 total accounts, they just don't know that, like they don't know that you can tick minute barb fishing still. It's just not
Right.
like a thing that comes up in their communities.
And it's fun. It's like it's fun, and a lot of people don't know that they'd enjoy it until they tried it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty hard to get into though. From like, it's not a natural progression, and like you'll just end up tick manipping if you play RuneScape.
Yeah, and I feel like the average person, they don't care about like the journey, you know. They just want to get their max cape and then quit or whatever. But I feel like the average player doesn't care about like you know, the journey, just like the destination.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
they just sort of skill as like a troll, I guess.
Yeah, it's a wild way to play too. Like I don't know how you log in thinking the game is like nothing but a chore and not having some kind of like, I can't imagine playing to max and then quit the game because the game's kind of over. Like, this was the point. The point of the rest of it.
I mean, the
But
amount of max people that wouldn't exist if the cape didn't exist is probably crazy.
mhm.
The cape is dumb. They never should have added it. And the scale cape perks.
I would
Yeah,
I would 100% not be maxed without the max cape. There's
yeah,
no
probably
universe.
same.
I would. I think I'd be level 50 smithing right now.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, I don't know.
I feel like you almost get it passively. Like
Mhm.
if you do all the like elite achievement diaries and stuff, and you play Iron and you do some PVM, it's like you look in your bank. It's like, oh, I have 99 smithing, just like banked. And I'm like 87 right now. Like, yeah, sure, fuck it. Oh, I have 99 herb banked from like raids or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I need to get a bunch of stems. I'll do agility. Or, like
I mean,
chins, I'll do hunter. It's like, I don't know. I feel like you sort of just get it passively. nowadays,
Especially on
if you
Ironman.
play a lot. Yeah, Ironman for sure. I think of it way bit different on the main.
Yeah, main, you gotta like go out of your way to. You gotta be like, all right, do I want this piece of gear or this 99? And
Yeah.
you know, until you have max gear, I'm sure they'll always pick the gear.
I think my main's like 60 herb or something, and it's like over 2k total. It's just like there's just no reason to train it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're not playing for XP, that's just, you can just ignore it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, before the diaries came out, like I did like almost no scaling on my main. I just did like the PVM stuff. And then like diaries came out, so then I had like a reason to train those skills. And then after the diary was like close enough that that skill cape perk seems like kind of useful for some of them. So then I went and got 99 in the skill. And then, you know, once you got all the other ones, like, oh, the max cape would be pretty good, so I guess I'll train that skill I didn't want to do. Because I don't know, but it appeals to the Fortnite PVM brain of just like wanting to get like gear and unique items and stuff. The max cape is just like another gear item.
Yeah.
Should there be a comp cape? I remember seeing on Twitter
I
recently, like a
I would
cosmetic
like it if
comp
it's just
cape.
cosmetic. Yeah.
Well, it would have to be. No way that.
Max cape, but with like custom colors or something, like a slightly different design. I don't like the sparkle effect, but
More max cape variants. Woo.
See, I
yeah,
don't,
like fuck it.
I don't like the comp cape, and I do like some completionist stuff. Like I've got the champion cape and the 4K chompies and some Castle Wars and stuff, but I don't like the idea of one of those capes because I don't I don't know how you set the threshold of like what is completionist and what is not. Because like if you look at a clan like Totus, like they have 200 mil all in their comp recs. But
Well,
this cape is not going to be locked behind something like that,
yeah, it would
you
just be
know.
like
And
RS3 where it's just they pick a designated list of things they think
Hmm.
is enough, right? And then
yeah,
once you do that list, so I feel like it would just be a pick and choose.
yeah, I'd rather see like a mini game cape come out that shows that you've done all of the mini games and like played them to completion, and then you can like trim your mini game cape if you've got a trimmed quest cape or a trimmed diary cape, like because that would essentially be what the RS3 comp cape is, but you don't run into the like saying like this is completion, you know, because the like the problem I have with the comp cape is it's not really completion. It's just in RS3 it was just a max cape plus mini game cape, and
More or less.
I I I think it'd be more I think it'd be just as interesting for like the Castle Wars community if you don't require them to be maxed to get their mini game cape, and at the same time for people playing the game, like I think it's good to not have a completionist cape because it says that you've completed the game when there's still like other content to do that's just never going to make that list because they think it's too long and grindy to like say you have to have all pets for it.
But then
Even in
trimmed
like
completionist comes in.
so even in RS3 they have stuff like true trim, where it's like trim isn't enough. Like the TOTUS list would be true trim, for example. So they disagree with like Jagex's version of trim, and they go for like true trim instead. But like as time goes on, if you play 16 hours a day doing true trim recs the entire time, you are not obtaining that. Like it is literally like impossible to get the true trim standard of like
Yeah.
actual in-game completable content.
So it's like finishing the TOTUS
So
sheet.
I think so long as it's like a whole mix of content, like you're maxed, you've got like the achievement cape, you've done a whole bunch of mini games, you've done Grandmaster of like all the PVM stuff. I think that like warrants a comp cape and probably some like other recs like boss Casey milestones or something. Like just some other thing to go for because it gives people stuff to do.
I guess I just don't want it to be called a comp cape.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess it's a bit of like a misnomer or something, but
yeah, but
you can just
I
call
mean
it something else.
I do like the idea if you could like combine like a max cape, a trimmed quest cape, a mini game cape, and this like combat achievement diary cape. That would be cool.
If they
But
do like not like just add 10 teleports to it like they do with every other cape, like
yeah.
can they just do nothing for once,
Teleport
please?
to every mini game.
Oh yeah, just the max cape with all of the achievement diary teleports on it, and
Man,
like
the
music cape
longest menu.
teleport. I want to go through like 20 layers of menuing on a cape.
Yeah.
I want to like right click the cape, and it just opens an interface with all of the different menus because it doesn't fit into like a chat box anymore. Or just like right click it, and it's like when you accidentally drop your feathers fishing. It's just like that fucking attack.
All right. Now we have a question from Sebe about
Oh,
gold ore. So I'll kind of explain what he has in mind. He wants to
Mhm.
rework gold rocks around the game to 1, respawn quicker, 2, have a higher mining success rate, and 3, have the tick delay removed. Because he
Yeah.
thinks it'll add a lot more variety into the smithing skill for irons.
So I looked at that, and it's pretty interesting. The way it's balanced, so assuming you're like superheat 3-ticking, which would be pretty cool as a method, getting like 1500 gold or an hour, 100k mining, that would be like 280k effective smithing. So it'd only be very slightly worse than current meta, which is like a little over 300k an hour. It would be significantly cheaper as well. It would be around half the price of Blast Furnace Gold, but a lot more effort and pretty cool, like mechanically. You'd be able to do that, like the mining to smithing ratio would be like 5 to 4 or something. So you'd be able to do that for most of your smithing as well, assuming you had mining XP left.
Yeah. I really like proposals like that. Like I hate how the smithing skill currently works, but I feel like it's so trapped by Blast Furnace. Because the rate is so high at Blast Furnace that it's really hard for them to come up with like competitive alternatives to just being able to trade an NPC and dump gold into the thing. Because it's like the big problem with like most smithing things. So I like how he was combining mining, so it gets like the overall effective rate up there.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just hard to make any kind of content that could give you enough gold ore per hour to compete with Blast Furnace for smithing. So I do think like making it so you can mine it faster is like a good alternative. I would though really like to see something like more happen with smithing. Like I think that would be like a really good like top end method, but I think they also need to add some other stuff in there because
Well, you could just like AFK mine gold if you
yeah
were lazy. It wouldn't be that
yeah.
bad.
Well,
I remember discussing with him that like how cool the sand method actually is, that it kind of incorporates 2 skills in it, even though it's like the sand one's overtuned.
Well,
I
when I
just
made my
I
art,
just think
I expected, like in my head, when I didn't really know much about the game, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna use the gatherers to gather resources that I'll use
Yeah.
for the skills, and that's just not how it works for any skill, really.
Yeah.
yeah, and this is like a good update for that. One thing I'd I kind of would like, because we were talking about like things that were in RS3, would be for them to do something similar to like what the Living Rock Cavern was.
Ooh.
Like you mine, like it was like a fairly AFK like gold mining thing, and it was like decent mining XP per hour. Like you could create like some kind of content like that that gives you enough gold ore, you don't necessarily need to make it equivalent to the current blast furnace thing, because I think it's really hard to compete with. But if you did something like that, combined a mining method, that that, that's kind of what I mean by I'd like to also see like some like a more casual centric thing, because for like non high level players, like the smithing skill is just a like unobtained like a nonsense, like pretty nonsense. Like it's just like they just run back and forth to a blast furnace shop, buy ore for a while, and then like dump it in there and like lose a ton of GP in the process and really don't progress their accounts much.
I think those guys should just get better at the game. I don't know.
So the way LRC worked in RuneScape 3, it was like this giant gold rock that would move around, and everyone could mine it at the same time. And it was pretty easy to superheat during that because you'd just superheat, click the rock. There was no like ticking involved. And I think that's way more realistic for like a new smithing method. Over 3-tick plus superheat at the gold like horseshoe in Brimhaven. I think that's like super hard to pull off.
Sebe was
Yeah.
But I think
suggesting just the deposit box there in your bank.
yeah, I think that would be alright. Like,
But I was
but
just
I sort of
was
like
looking
LRC.
for-
I love superheat mining, but like
Yeah,
I think incorporating 3-tick in that is I don't know, a bit much.
yeah, I just don't think you can like expect a huge chunk of the game to suddenly start like tick manipulating the mining. And Sebe, the method that Sebe put out just gets really shit if you don't tick it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
True.
So it's like a non-method if you don't tick it, and so few people currently pick granite that I just don't think they'd switch over to like ticking gold rocks.
It would be all right if they also added like a triple gold spot as well as those changes with the respawn times, and
Yeah,
it wouldn't be as bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they turned every iron rock into gold rock,
It'd be kind of broken then, actually.
So with LRC, like depositing the ore you got was like super shit because it was like a 30-second run or something to a deposit box. So it sort of like forced you to like superheat it if you wanted Smith, or you just have to drop the ores AFK and get no Smith XP, which I think is like pretty, like I like that. Like you can be a bit lazier with the do blast furnace, but like you're losing out on quite a lot. I don't know, I really like that. What do you guys think about making smithing cheaper overall? Because a method like this would make it would save you like over $1 bill, depending how much gold you buy per world, to 200 mil. Like it might open up like mahogany construction and stuff, which is sort of nice.
Yeah, smithing costs an obscene amount right now. It's like 7.58 GP and XP.
and you just deleting money to train smithing, like
Yeah, and
That's fine, but it's a bit much.
as it is right now, gold's like still just a limiting factor on iron, isn't it? Like you just can't really do like mahog tables or something. We can't.
You can't. There's only so much Warcath you can kill before you're 200 mil per hour.
Yeah.
You don't have infinite money.
Yeah, well, and I like the idea of having an alternative to smithing that is cheap or basically free, because it's a fucked amount of money that you have to make. It forces that forecast number to be super high, so there isn't like a good way to have like a play style that doesn't kill as much forecast, because you just won't be able to afford viables. And so like the entire mode is like locked into Vorkath because it's the best GPM prayer, but also because smithing gives you no alternative. Like it's not an alternative to do myth plate bodies for 100k an hour instead of doing gold. Like, and that's the only way you can save money right now. Smithing is just a garbage like level 3 UIM method.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you want good smith rates, you're doing UAM gold ore for like over 300k an hour.
Yeah, and for Ironman especially, there's like smithing is one probably like the least like different ways to train skill. I can't think of the word, but like you only do gold ore, that's it. Like agility, you got Artie and Sepulcher. Mining, you got so many other options, but smithing definitely needs something for Ironman, even if it's like a little not as good as like Sebe's method or some. The Living Rock Cavern sounds like a pretty good like alternative. But just buying gold ore is pretty annoying unless they added like gold ore packs or something or instant shops, but I don't think they'll ever do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think gold ore packs is like a cop out solution.
For
I don't think
LRC, how do you like? Because you're gonna need a superheat, right? How would you factor in the nature rune? Like price.
It's like 210, I think, or something. On iron.
What XP do you get when you superheat it though? Isn't it just the same as gold?
Yeah.
Gold ore?
Yeah.
So
Gold's
wouldn't it?
57.5.
Oh, so it comes out. But I guess I'm saying like, how does it save you that much money if you need to
Well,
buy
that's
the
like
nature and the gold is
half the
almost
cost,
the same?
right?
Oh wait, what's a gold ore cost?
I mean, it's like, so it's a similar in terms of price. It's only like 1 or 2 GP per XP cheaper buying nature runes to superheat than it is buying like maxed out blast furnace worlds, but it's like half the cost of buying bought out competitive shops. Buying the
Yeah,
nature runes.
if you're only
And
buying one or two events a world, it's not as big of a difference, but that sucks, like XP rate wise.
Okay.
yeah, and if if you're getting it in a rate, where you take a loss banking it, but you have an option to bank it, like there will be people who don't want to kill Vorkath and can't afford to train the skill that'll just bank it. But right now, there's no way to do smithing if you can't afford it. Like it's just a non-skill if you don't have GP. Whereas if you had a deposit box down there, even if it's kind of like a shit run to get to, it still gives you a way to do it.
There's some kind of scuff stuff you can do with like mining wewkek, superheating, and smithing the sets and handing them in. It's like 0.7 or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty cheap comparatively.
Yeah, there are some like scuff things that you can do. Wewkek's like the only one that's like close to viable as an alternative for
Still need to
smithing.
buy the coal, right? So I guess you're not. Shopscape is still.
Yeah, you still go to the blast furnace shop and you get a coal bag and you just buy a ton of coal, and just coal being cheaper than gold.
Yeah.
But
he also mentioned silver smithing gauntlets, kind of like the gold ones that he said even if the XP's tripled, so if it went from 13.7 to 41 XP per, it wouldn't be too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
I feel like only PVMers are really getting passive silver ore though. Like only people doing the discussing amount of chambers.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I really see the.
I don't think there's any need for it. Like you already smith silver on an iron to make your silver jewelry.
Yeah, I think the only other upside to it is if you wanted to give someone an alternative thing that they can also buy in blast furnace, because that's really what silver smithing gauntlets would be. Is it's cheaper to buy from the shop.
True.
So it would just be if you're broke, you just do UIM silver instead of UIM gold, and it's the same method. It doesn't change anything about how it works. It's just you can buy two different things.
Yeah, and the big issue with UAM gold right now is like what 2 people can do it at a time because of just stocks. So that's really like the huge issue with it. Like you can't really do it.
So with his proposal, it would be 41 XP per, but only costs 112 GP to buy from the
112
the person.
That would probably be meta. I'm not sure actually, but it's only like 20% worse, like 20.
But I mean, yeah, you could definitely tune it, like the XP, to where it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't know if I mean, I'd be fine with like an update like that, but that to me doesn't change that smithing right now is just a garbage skill.
Yeah, it just replaces.
Like, it doesn't really do anything. You're just doing the same thing you're doing with gold with silver.
I'd rather see something before we got to the point of silver gauntlets. I'd rather see basically, back again to RS3 content because I'm not a paid dev. Like they had artisan workshop, but we could make something like artisan workshop where you just get more XP for like a mithril and addy bar. So that way people who do like blast mining and MLM can actually get 99 mining with those resources. Like one issue right now is that mithril and addy, like do they just earn a lot of XP, and the actual XP rate of using them is so bad that it's like not really worth using mithril that you get other than to like save coins. Like if you could make it so that smithing those ores was like a more effective XP rate and a bit higher XP per bar, so when you do something like Zalcano would bank you a good amount of smithing XP instead of what it Banksy right now, which is not that much.
It would have to be a bit different than Artisan, because I think that
Yeah.
was like 10-minute AFK in inventory or something silly.
Yeah,
Like I remember people just doing that at like work.
Yeah,
But,
I don't. But
yeah.
I think it gave you higher XP per bar,
Yeah.
and I think that's something that we need is just to make the other types of ores and bars useful. Because like I wouldn't really want to like add silversmith and gauntlets to the game where you basically generate a bunch of garbage bars again, but now they're silver bars instead of gold bars. It'd be really nice if like you could convert like mithril and addy that you got into XP in a way that would like meaningfully competed with gold instead of right now like addy's like viable to do, but like mithril is worse than gold even though it's technically like a higher tier ore and it's harder to get. It's just worse to
Yeah.
use.
But yeah, I definitely want to see something like LRC. I think mining plus superheating is like a really sick mechanic. I remember everyone pretty much enjoying that.
Yeah, it's definitely something that they could steal from RS3 instead of shooting tires in Soul War.
I would be happy with just addressing the problem of only a few people being able to actually do the current meta method.
You had a solution for that, right, Mason?
Yeah, well, I messaged a bunch of JMods in a different Discord that they just need to flip like almost every world to being a blast furnace world at least, because the current method is limited by the number of blast furnace worlds, and they could rework how blast furnace works if they want to make it so people botting snowflake accounts can't get crashed on their bot, which is like the reason we have so many normal worlds right now, because no one's doing legitimate blast furnace. It's just people pumping, and like the only reason they need multiple worlds is because you can crash them and they're just auto clicking so they won't fix themselves. So like basically we need to have a lot more regular blast furnace, like not regular blast furnace but manned blast furnace worlds with like the current meta of smithing, because it's just kind of ridiculous that the best method that you can do for smithing, and really like the only like viable one, requires blast furnace worlds and requires you to hop through a bunch of them using that shop. So you need to like instance it or make a bunch more worlds.
I think that might make it like harder to make new content, because like that method can be shitty because it's so competitive. But like if they want to add like an LRC or something, that being on every world might make it hard, because everyone can sort of get the consistent like 330k or whatever the like upper rate is. So I'd like to, I'm not really sure.
I'd like to see them do something like LRC first. Like
I definitely want content. Yeah.
Like I want something that's not the blast furnace thing, but if they are going to not add new content, then they need to add more blast furnace worlds, because right now you have a best method and then just a significantly worse one of buying gold in other worlds and hopping over, and it's just like, and it's I don't know, it's just like capped to like 2 people at a time. And if you're playing in Ironman mode, I don't know, it'd be nice if you weren't like capped to 2 people in the entire game can do a method, because people can't like progress their account when they want to. Like Bay's rule and is like working on 200 mil smithing right now, so like some like normie Ironman like is just locked out for chunks of the day if he's doing smithing. Like you just like only 2 people can progress the skill.
Don't most of them normally still just bank gold though, even though it sucks.
It's like 200k an hour, but it's like just way like easier. It's way more intuitive. Like if you heard like gold ores meta, that's what you'd go and do.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like think to do the UAM thing.
Well, and a lot of them do it too, because like I don't know, I don't go out of my way to tell people about that, because I don't really want other people buying the gold on those specific worlds, because it's limited to 2 people.
You kind of up here, didn't you?
So it just ruins the method.
Yeah.
It's like buying the headless arrowheads. It was like very good for a while.
Yeah.
Now too many people know about it. Now it just sucks.
Yeah.
Methods like that just suck because of exactly that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like barraging Abbey Demons, like I remember people not wanting that to get out because it was like competitive enough already. You need both rooms for it to be good. So there's just like methods people know about but don't tell other people about, because if once it gets competitive, it just is gonna suck.
It won't be method, yeah.
All right. So I think we'll move to some of the Twitter questions and then kind of wrap it up after that. So
Sweet.
we'll go for the first one from Manic Marauder 7. Good number at the end. And he says, basically, looking back, what is one goal that you kind of achieved that you would tackle differently? I guess we'll kind of can hear from everyone. So I'll go first. Something I've kind of ranted about it a lot, that I nightmare zoned a ton and kind of regret it just because of the meta, like having to kill so many Warcath and how Slayer is set up that when you don't have melee XP left, you're kind of forced into like ranging and switching your like task list to a point that I don't like, but to still be efficient. So what I would change, definitely would not have zoned as much as I did. That way I could melee Warcath, because was way more enjoyable for me, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I could go back, I would have I wouldn't change much. I kind of have balanced like skills and everything, but I would have made my account sooner, and I wouldn't have done any like PVMing, because when I made my account, I made it a couple years or like right before hardcore, and then I was going for like pet hunting and PVM. So if I could go back, I would have just skipped all the PVM I did and just focused on skills more. That's pretty much it, really.
It's wild how much of a skill you are right now. Because I remember we did a bunch of like turbo stuffed raids, like when raids came out.
Tob. This
Yeah.
we're kind of the crew, that day one
Yeah.
top
yeah.
crew.
Yeah.
That was a little misery though.
I don't know. RNG grinds for me just fucking suck like a lot. Just like seeing someone else get a drop like within 1 hour, and then you're going like thousands of hours for the same one, just like demotivating to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would just not have PVM pretty much.
I think like the main thing I would have changed is mostly like I really regret how much I played my non-iron main before I made my iron. Like I spent like 1 or 2 years like watching just like consuming tons of YouTube videos of like Ironman content, and I thought it was super cool, but I didn't want to try it the mode because I thought it'd be like too grindy. Like I was a pretty like casual normie, and but like once I actually like got into the account, like I mean I ended up not maxing my main but maxing the iron because I just like loved the game mode and thought it was like super fun. So I definitely would have started the mode sooner, but I actually really like the way that my accounts progress through stuff. I mean, most of what I would do different if I was making a new account is just because of updates. Less so than I feel like I did something particularly bad on the account.
I probably would have gone back, probably done revs pre-nerf, and then buy like a ton of blood runes, so I could just use Scythe and Sang in raids without caring. Because like right now I have both, and I've pretty much never used the Scythe in the raid, and I barely use the Sang because you don't really need it. But I think just having enough bloods to like just not care would be super fun, because it opens up a lot of new methods as well. Like I haven't done like any of the Scythe methods because, yeah, I just don't have the blood runes for it. So yeah,
Do you
I
think
think
you'd
revs
also,
and then buying a ton of bloods would be nice.
yeah. Do you think you'd pray melee at monkeys?
And Too soon, man.
Honestly, it did make the game a lot funner because I could start PBMing, and I found I actually really enjoyed it. Whereas before, like I'd never really done it, so I was just practicing on ults and stuff. But yeah, overall, pretty fine with that.
Personally, one goal I tackled definitely. I regret before I was maxed focusing on max as much as I did and not just doing what I felt like. It definitely burnt me out a few times. I would have done a little bit more post 99 scaling and some skills that I enjoyed. Probably would have enjoyed it more. But I also regret getting a Warhammer because that is the most fucking useless item ever if you don't do chambers. Especially with like range banders. Like going back, I would just tell myself like, screw shamans, man. Just do like green crossbow banders, get a BGS, and then use that for Volcath. Like,
Yeah, if you're going for like rigor, you definitely don't need the hammer to do team raids.
You don't even need rigor. Like, I pretty much just wanted to skill the whole time, so I only really wanted to kill Volcath. I guess I thought I wanted to do chambers at the time, but yeah, that didn't really happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't totally need a hammer for chambers. Like, it's definitely not a bad shout for people to like try it on their account first, do some chambers without it, and then if they really think that they want to like grind a TiVo, then go camp stuff like a Warhammer.
Oh, I forgot my hammer like in a raid yesterday, and it just like actually just felt so shit. Like it's it's just so much worse. But yeah.
Yeah, well, you're doing some really efficient solo raids.
Definitely. It's good to try it out first, I guess. Everyone just thinks they absolutely need a hammer before they step into raids, but especially in like teams, I don't really think that's true.
Oh yeah, and that reminds me, fuck ranger boots, man. Why did I do
that? Yeah, those items. Like if you're just focused on skilling, there's just so many items that make absolutely no fucking sense to go for. Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
Like what boss do you like? You get. I think you need Lance, right? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like maybe. Well, you need to do Zami for Lance. And
yeah, and like
Zora, and then Zora.
Lance.
Rex for a B ring, maybe.
Yeah.
And then Vorkath. Like those are technically the only bosses you really need to kill. In terms of skilling.
And Wintertod.
Woo! And Tempoross.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Hesporius good PVM.
True.
Alright.
Well, how has Ironman affected the main game positively or negatively, C7? Or did you want to skip that question?
No, we can do that one.
I don't really know anything about the main game, apart from you need a shit ton of money for rune crafting if you're a skiller. But that has
20
nothing
bill or something. Not even.
I mean, I think a lot of people complain that like that it's like it ruins the main economy. I don't really understand that. In a way, like surely just bots do way more.
Yeah, sure. There's not that many people reward trading the herb tab or whatever.
Well, I guess like a different version of this question is just how has it affected like how you play the game compared to the main game? Because like I think a lot of people play a lot more on an Ironman. Like one difference is like the main game sort of devolved in a way that really requires like alts and stuff like that. And I feel like Ironman for like the normal RuneScape player is becoming the main way that they play, because it kind of gets back at the reasons like people would have wanted to play the game of just like progressing a single account through.
Okay, yeah. I guess just like for the majority of Ironmen, right? They're just gonna the fact that you only need to play one account to more or less be efficient is nice.
Yeah, not worrying about money making or
That as well, yeah. Like the whole main aspect of RC actually just is crazy to me.
I mean, even if you're not a skiller for PVM, it's still meta to like
Yeah.
make money and use it to pay people to do shit. Like
Mhm.
I don't know the details, but you can definitely just like spend money to make stuff faster in PVM.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you can, even if you aren't like paying services to actually plan your account, like you just pay people to, show up to Bandos with like a DSIM. If you get enough accounts DSIMing it while you're scything it, like you get the kill every time and your kills are instant.
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
that's fine for like pet hunters though. Like if you're going for every single pet, you're not solo killing 20,000 bandos. Like
right.
hmm
I just don't really want to like engage with that as content at that point.
Yeah. I think it's like nice for like a sort of more normal like player base to have the option of doing like Ironman mode as an escape from that. Because if you're the kind of person that really cares about playing efficiently, like I feel like the main game is like a giant rabbit hole you can go down. Whereas like Ironman mode's like a mode that you can jump into, and yeah, you can alt flare, but a lot of it is just like actually routing the account to play like effectively rather than trying to route, how many alts can I play at any given moment in order to like function in the main game.
Yeah, for sure. And ulting on Iron Man is like people make a big deal about it, but it's honestly really tame. Like it's not a huge thing.
It's pretty much
Like,
just Slayer.
yeah, well, it's I'm like shooting black chins or whatever, but who cares?
and like I guess 1+1 VM technically. And I guess I ult like scouting raids, but that's like more of a
Yeah,
that's so just like whatever. It's like yeah, Iron Man standalone, but self-scouting isn't. It's just not that fun. I don't want to like scout for 20 minutes in between raids. Like screw that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
I don't throwing darts and necros is particularly fun either, or like fucking smithing cannibals for your smokes.
Yeah.
That just
Like
sucks.
in a lot of cases, I'll just make it like funner or like streamline some boring process. Like for the most part, you can get away with just not using ults. Like maybe you can't do stuff like Tazars and your smokes are a bit slower, but
Yeah,
I'm
your
s-
it's whatever.
stuff you
won't
can't.
won't the like demonic ash stuff coming in make Necreals go to the Slayer Tower?
Um,
So it's like you wouldn't be ulting at least one less task.
we're technically supposed to do a decent amount of them in Slad Tower right now. I think if you're like a neat.
Yeah, like at that point, wouldn't it be efficient to just do Slayer Tower? I don't know the numbers.
I think you just get too much like toad flags if you do that.
Oh,
You can't do birdhouse runs.
200 more birdhouse runs.
Yeah,
I think
Nightmares range of 0.1.
I think you were also talking about how you potentially get too much prayer doing that too.
Oh yeah, well if
Um,
you do the ash stuff with the spell,
yeah,
you can do less Warcath, and then you can't really like realistically pay for smithing, fletching, con.
yeah. When like the incentive, the added incentive of doing tower next instead of barrage next. I mean, because you get the ash either way on both of them, but in the tower you could, use the spell and get a lot more prayer. So at a certain point, you just get too much prayer too. But it will make it better for, I think, like the average player. I think that the demonic ash update's going to be really big for pushing them back into the tower, which is better for a lot of their accounts anyway because you get a lot of herb XP. But
I think we don't really have a good idea of what it's going to be like until we can like play around with it a bit. Like casting the spell, we're not sure if it makes you lose a tactics or not yet,
mm-hmm.
or if it's like actually 0 time. And then realistically, you're going to lose ticks looting like a tactics, especially if you're like looting seeds, alks, and then ash every kill. That's
Yeah.
just super annoying to maintain. Like it's not.
Yeah.
all right. So
It looks paper, but it might not really change the meta much. I don't think, unless they add Bone Crusher or Ash Crusher. Sorry,
They are adding a ashtray or ash whatever spreader.
yeah. Ash Vacuum.
I like ashtray, but they're gonna make it you add the thing from Soul Wars to the Bone Crusher, something like that.
Gotta get people to play Soul Wars somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it was. I think it took like 1 hour of Soul Wars to get.
Yeah, it was like an
Yeah.
hour and a half.
I just I feel like prayer has so much stuff to like you can train it with. I just feel like the ash thing was like not needed at all.
No, Prayer and Ironman's like already just not a problem at this point.
I think it's probably really good for hardcores
Oh
and
yeah.
UIMs.
Yeah.
So it just might not be an update as focused on mains because like it makes like hardcore Ironman prayer not having the willy altar like a lot more reasonable, and like most UIMs are not doing like wildy green dragons or really using the altar either, so it adds for accounts like that, like they need that prayer XP, I guess. Whereas for us, because of how strong that wildy altar is, like you don't need to cast a spell on all your ashes. Probably just ash blasting or whatever is enough.
Ash
true.
blasting.
Yeah, I really don't like the ash spreader thing, but oh well. I
Yeah,
just don't want to play Soul Wars.
It's kind of dumb that it's just Prayer XP for 0. If they do it at like 0 effort and 0 time, like actually 0 time, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, especially like at least the Bone Crusher, you do have to like charge with extra tokens.
Doesn't it take soul runes?
Yeah,
So that's what they want, and it's like it was like
Yeah.
one soul rune is like 100 charges, and it's like what? Like soul runes, man.
Yeah, no, it just makes it so it's like entirely an update for 0. Like it's just
Make it one to one.
Mhm.
1 to 5 maybe. No, 1 to 1.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Make it use Toastles.
Ooh, Dwarf Weeks.
Month's mad.
Mhm.
He's gonna hear this too. All right, so
Oh, sure.
I think it's kind of the extent we wanted to cover. So we'll kind of wrap it up
Also,
there.
charging items. I don't really know where this fits in, but I really wish you could charge the Ring of Endurance with stamina mixes, because it right now it like brings up the interface but doesn't actually let you put them in.
You know what they say? Spam Twitter.
Yeah, I'll
Spam
JMods.
Arcane, if you're listening.
Please let me charge the ring.
Stam mixes.
For the barb lore community.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with 3 people.
For high grade wewkek.
All right, it's clan shilling time. So we are in Olympus, yeah. If you're listening to this, Maxed Iron Clan, and I would recommend if you're looking for a community, like-minded, people, high-level people, definitely come to the Discord and hit the apply button. I think really makes the game way more enjoyable having a community like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like people you can compare yourself to if you're max going for XP. There's like I don't think there's any other clan of irons like doing that, so it's pretty
Yeah.
nice to be around people with like similar
Oh.
mindsets.
#1 Ironman clan in the game.
Yeah.
True.
No, well, and even if you don't have like the Rex to apply, just feel free to like hang out in the questions thing, chat in general, or like hop in voice. Like it is like a real community, and I think that's really big for a mode like this. You know, being able to connect people. So definitely check out the Discord.
Our Discord's open to the public, and we're pretty friendly to new people. So just come and say hi, even if you don't want to join the clan.
Also,
And
check out the Ironman skilling Discord
Oh,
if you have any questions.
yeah, it's a really good. Like if you're going for like efficient methods for Ironman, that Discord is like nice for literally any skill from when you're starting your account to like after 99. It's really nice.
Yeah, no, it's really impressive work over there. That also has a questions channel. If you ever want
Yeah.
any more input, if you ever want some feedback on stuff.
all right. Well, thank you.
Well,
Thank
cheers.
you all for coming. Hope everyone
Yeah.
that watched enjoyed it. I'm sure there will be more in the future.
Yeah. Well, thanks for going out of your way to host it.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun.
All right, peace.
Cheers.
Bye.